I have said that we never chose to have the parasite, which is the judge, the victim, and the belief system. If we know we didn't have a choice and we have the awareness that it's nothing but a dream, we recover something very important that we lost, something that religions call free will. Religions say that when humans were created, God gave us free will. This is true, but the dream took it away from us and kept it, because the dream controls the will of most humans. There are people who say, I want to change. I really want to change. There is no reason for me to be so poor. I am intelligent. I deserve to live a good life, to earn much more money than I earn. They know this, but this is what their mind is telling them. What do these people do? They go and turn the television on and spend hours and hours watching it. Then how strong is their will? Once we have awareness, we have a choice. If we could have that awareness all the time, we could change our routines, change our reactions, and change our entire life. Once we have the awareness, we recover free will. When we recover free will, in any moment we can choose to remember who we are. Then if we forget, we can choose again, if we have the awareness. But if we don't have the awareness, we have no choice. Becoming aware is about being responsible for your own life. You are not responsible for what is happening in the world. You are responsible for yourself. You didn't make the world the way it is. The world was already the way it was before you were born. You didn't come here with a great mission to save the world, to change society, but surely you come with a big mission, an important mission. The real mission you have in life is to make yourself happy, and in order to be happy, you have to look at what you believe. The way you judge yourself, the way you victimize yourself, be completely honest about your happiness. Don't project a false sense of happiness by telling everyone, look at me, I'm a success in life, I have everything I want, I am so happy, when you don't like yourself. Everything is there for us, but we first need to have the courage to open our eyes, to use the truth, and to see what it really is. Humans are so blind, and they are blind because they don't want to see. Let's look at an example. A young woman meets a man and she feels a strong attraction for him right away. Her hormones go all the way up and she just wants the man. All her girlfriends can see what this man is. He's on drugs, he's not working, he's got all the traits that make a woman suffer so much. But she sees him, and what does she see? She only sees what she wants to see. She sees that he's tall, he's handsome, he's strong, he's charming. She creates an image of the man and tries to deny what she doesn't want to see. She lies to herself. She really wants to believe the relationship will work. The girlfriends say, but he's on drugs, he's an alcoholic, he's not working. She says, yes, but my love is going to change him. Of course, her mother hates the man, and the father does too. Her parents are worried about her because they can see where she is going. They say, this is not a good man for you. The young woman says, you are telling me what to do. She goes against mom and against dad to follow her hormones, and she lies to herself, trying to justify her choices. It's my life, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Months later, the relationship brings her back to reality. The truth starts coming out, and she blames the man for what she didn't want to see before. There's no respect, there's a lot of abuse, but now her pride is more important. How can she go back home when mom and dad were right? That will only give them satisfaction. How long will it take for this woman to learn the lesson? How much does she love herself? What is the limit of her self-abuse? All that suffering occurs because we don't want to see when it is so clear before our eyes. Even when we meet someone and he tries to pretend to be the best he can, even with that false mask, he cannot avoid presenting the lack of love, the lack of respect he has. But we don't want to see it and we don't want to hear it. That is why an ancient prophet once said, there is no worse blind man than the one who doesn't want to see. There is no worse deaf man than the one who doesn't want to hear. And there is no worse madman than the one who doesn't want to understand. We are so blind, we really are, and we pay for that. But if we open our eyes and see life as it is, we can avoid a lot of emotional pain. It doesn't mean we don't take a risk. We are alive, we need to take risks, and if we fail, so what? Who cares? It doesn't matter. We learn and we move on without judgment. We don't need to judge. We don't need to blame or feel guilt. We just need to accept our truth and intend a new beginning. If we can see ourselves the way we are, this is the first step towards self-acceptance, towards stopping the self-rejection. Once we are able to accept ourselves just the way we are, everything can start changing from that point forward. Everyone has a price, and life respects that price, but that price is not measured in dollars or in gold. It is measured in love. More than that, it is measured in self-love. How much you love yourself, that is your price, and life respects the price. When you love yourself, your price is very high, which means your tolerance for self-abuse is very low. It's very low because you respect yourself. You like yourself the way you are, and this makes your price higher. If you don't like things about yourself, the price is a little lower. Sometimes the self-judgment is so strong that people need to be numb just to be with themselves. If you don't like a person, you can walk away from that person. If you don't like a group of people, you can walk away from those people. But if you don't like yourself, it doesn't matter where you go, you are right there. To avoid being with yourself, you need to take something to numb you, to take your mind away from yourself. Perhaps some alcohol is going to help. Perhaps some drugs will help. Perhaps eating. Just eat, eat, eat. The self-abuse can get much worse. There are people who really feel self-hatred. They are self-destructive, killing themselves little by little because they don't have the courage to kill themselves fast. If you observe self-destructive people, you will see they attract people just like them. What do we do if we don't like ourselves? We try to get numb with alcohol to forget our suffering. That's the excuse we use. Where are we going to get alcohol? We go to a bar to drink, and guess who's going to be there? People just like us, who are trying to avoid themselves also, who also try to get numb. We get numb together, we start talking about suffering, and we understand each other very well. We even start to enjoy it. We understand each other perfectly because we vibrate in the same frequency. We are both being self-destructive. Then I hurt you, you hurt me, a perfect relationship in hell. What happens when you change? For whatever reason, you no longer need the alcohol. It's okay now to be with yourself, and you really enjoy it. You no longer drink, but you have the same friends, and everyone's drinking. They get numb, they start getting happier, but you can clearly see their happiness is not real. What they call happiness is a rebellion against their own emotional pain. In that happiness, they are so hurt that they have fun hurting people and hurting themselves. You no longer fit in, and of course they resent you because you are no longer like them. Hey, you are rejecting me because you no longer drink with me, because you don't get high with me. Now you have to make a choice. You can step back, or you can go to another level of frequency and meet people who finally accept themselves like you do. You find there is another realm of reality, a new way of relationship, and you no longer accept certain kinds of abuse. Chapter 8, Sex, the biggest demon in hell. If we could take humans out of the creation of the universe, we would see that the whole creation, the stars, the moon, the planet, the plants, the animals, everything, is perfect just the way it is. Life doesn't need to be justified or judged without us. It keeps going the way it is. If you put humans in that creation, but take away the ability to judge, you will find we are exactly like the rest of nature. We are not good or bad or right or wrong. We are just the way we are. In the dream of the planet, we have the need to justify everything, to make everything good or bad or right or wrong, when it is the way it is, period. Humans accumulate a lot of knowledge. We learn all those beliefs, morals, and rules from our family, society, religion, and we base most of our behavior, most of our feelings on that knowledge. We create angels and demons, and of course, sex becomes the biggest demon in hell. Sex is the biggest sin of the humans when the human body is made for sex. You are a biological, sexual being, and that is just the way it is. Your body is so wise, all that intelligence is in the genes, in the DNA. The DNA doesn't need to understand or justify everything, it just knows. The problem is not with sex. The problem is the way we manipulate the knowledge and our judgments when there is really nothing to justify. It's so hard for the mind to surrender, to accept that it's just the way it is. We have a whole set of beliefs about what sex should be, about how a relationship should be, and these beliefs are completely distorted. In hell, we pay a high price for a sexual encounter, but the instinct is so strong that we do it anyway. Then we have all that guilt, all that shame. We hear all that gossip about sex. Look at what this woman is doing. Oh, look at that man. We have a whole definition of what a woman is, what a man is, how a woman should behave sexually, how a man should behave sexually. Men are always too macho or too wimpy, depending on who is judging. Women are always too thin or too fat. We have all these beliefs about how a woman should be in order to be beautiful. You have to buy the right clothes, create the right image, so you can be seductive and fit that image. If you don't fit that image of beauty, you grow up believing that you are not worthy, that no one will like you. We believe so many lies about sex that we don't enjoy sex. Sex is for animals. Sex is evil. We should be ashamed to have sexual feelings. These rules about sex go completely against nature, and it's just a dream, but we believe it. Your true nature comes out and it doesn't fit with all those rules. You are guilty. You are not what you should be. You are judged. You are victimized. You punish yourself, and it's not fair. This creates wounds that become infected with emotional poison. The mind plays this game, but the body doesn't care what the mind believes. The body just feels the sexual need. At a certain time in our lives, we cannot avoid feeling sexual attraction. This is completely normal. It is not a problem at all. The body is going to feel sexual when it's excited, when it's touched, when it's visually stimulated, when it sees the possibility of sex. The body can feel sexual and a few minutes later stop feeling sexual. If the stimulation ends, the body stops feeling the need for sex, but the mind is another story. Let's say that you are married and were raised as a Catholic. You have all those ideas about how sex should be, about what is good or bad or right or wrong, about what is a sin and what is acceptable. You need to sign a contract to make sex okay. If you don't sign the contract, sex is a sin. You have given your word to be loyal, but one day you are walking on the street and a man crosses in front of you. You feel a strong attraction. The body feels the attraction. There is no problem. It doesn't mean you will take any action, but you cannot avoid the feeling because it's completely normal. When the stimulation is gone, the body lets go, but the mind needs to justify what the body feels. The mind knows, and that's the problem. Your mind knows, you know, but what is that you know? You know what you believe. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, right or wrong, correct or incorrect. You are raised to believe this is bad, and right away you make that judgment. Now the drama and conflict begin. Later you think of that man, and just thinking of him makes your hormones go up again, because of the powerful memory that's in your mind. It's as if your body is seeing him again. The body reacts because the mind thinks about it. If the mind would leave the body alone, that reaction would go away as if it never happened, but the mind remembers it. And because you know it's not okay, you start to judge yourself. The mind says it's not okay and tries to repress what it feels. When you try to repress your mind, guess what? You think about it more. Then you see that man, and even if it's in a different situation, your body reacts more strongly. If the first time you had just let go of the judgment, perhaps you would see him the second time and you would have no reaction at all. Now you see the man, you have sexual feelings, and you judge these feelings and think, oh my God, it's not okay, I'm a terrible woman. You need to be punished, you are guilty, you are going in a downward spiral, and for nothing, because it's all in the mind. Perhaps that man doesn't even notice that you exist. You start imagining the whole thing, you make assumptions, and you start to want him more. For whatever reason, you meet the man, you talk to him, and it's beautiful for you. It becomes an obsession. It's very attractive, but you are afraid. Then you make love to him, and it's the greatest thing and the worst thing at the same time. Now you really need to be punished. What kind of woman would allow her sexual desire to be greater than her morals? Who knows what games the mind is going to play? You hurt, but you try to deny your feelings. You try to justify your actions to avoid the emotional pain. Well, my husband is probably the same way. The attraction becomes stronger, but it's not because of your body. It's because the mind is playing a game. The fear becomes an obsession, and all that fear you have about your sexual attraction is building up. When you make love with this man, you have a great experience, but not because he is great and not because the sex was great, but because all the tension, all the fear is released. To build it up again, the mind plays the game that it's because of that man, but it isn't true. The drama keeps growing, and it's nothing but a simple mental game. It's not even real. It's not love either, because this kind of relationship becomes very destructive. It is self-destructive because you are hurting yourself, and the place that hurts most is what you believe. It doesn't matter if your belief is right or wrong, or good or bad. You are breaking your beliefs, which is something that we wish to do, but in the way of the spiritual warrior, not the way of the victim. Now you are going to use that experience to go deeper into hell, not to get out of hell.